What was your Trans Am championship like in 2002?
You don't realize really what it's like until after, years later when you think about how good it was. We won 9 of 13 races that year, I think. So it was a really, really good year with ACS computers. We were all really good friends, tight knit group. Chris Willis designed and built the car. And that was just one of those, dream years where everything just seemed to click. And, we were really fast and reliable. But it was a lot of fun. But those cars back then to how they are now, they're basically the same cars, but more aero and, almost 250 more horsepower. So they're a blast to drive. I mean, there's nothing like that with, a raw car, tube frame car with 900 horsepower and no ABS, no traction control. The car we drive still is a gated shifter, so you have to have good footwork. And it's just, there's nothing more fun that I've never had more fun driving a car on a track before than that.
That's awesome.
Now you say you love Daytona, so I have to ask: are you in the 24 hours of Daytona coming up here in about a month?
No more sports car stuff like that. I mean, maybe next year when bronze drivers are more valuable, but no plans to go to Daytona or do it this year. But I'm going to watch it on TV. I still love it. I competed there. I don't even know how many years. We won 2 years in class, but it's one of the greatest events. I mean, what's so cool about the 24 Hours of Daytona is it's usually the first race of the year, but you get so many drivers from so many different disciplines. You get IndyCar drivers, Formula One car drivers, sports car drivers, the occasional NASCAR driver, and it's just a really cool event. And then it takes place at Daytona, which is basically it's just the hollow grounds, I think, for motorsports in America.
That's really cool.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said I have to agree.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, bro, I was wondering, is there a reason why that the MB Sutton team didn't work out for you?
I mean, I think it worked out. I mean, it was more, Jay Fry, I was good friends with him who ran that. And when Jerry Nadeau got hurt and I got the pole in his car at Sears Point that year, I don't even remember what year, 2002, 2001. And we ran really good at Sears Point. And Jay ran me at Daytona for the Bud Shootout because I got the pole that year in the Army car. And he put together a deal with Bob Sutton. And unfortunately, it was Centrix Financial, which was, auto financing company. And it looked like, we did a few races one year and more races the next year. And we're talking about a full season. And then it kind of went down the way No Fear went down, just in the whole 08 when everything kind of failed, 07, 08. It was just kind of a bad timing for that company. So, yeah, it was too bad, but no hard feelings. It was fun for me, to get to do some ovals in NASCAR. I never really got to do many ovals, so it was a lot of fun to race some of those tracks like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, Daytona 500. So that was a lot of fun.
Do you have any good guy who could go back and do any of that again?
Not now. Not now. I think my time has come and gone for that. I mean, I wouldn't mind doing some road races if they called me to do road races, but I don't think they're knocking my door down anymore. But back then when I had all those great years of racing, they only had 2 road races a year. Sears Point and Watkins Glen. Now they have 6 of them. So I wish they would have had that when I was in my prime. But I would still go do a road course for anybody that asked me to, because I love driving. I still feel like I'm in good shape, but it's still, for me, I'm a fan. Even though I was a racer, I love watching it. I mean, I think, watching guys like Chase Elliott and, are just so amazing to watch. The talent they have now, these new guys, it's amazing. Ross Chastain and, Kyle Larson is just probably one of the most amazing drivers in the world right now. So I still watch every weekend like everybody else and have a great time.
So what do you think is what's the most challenging course you've ever been on?
By far, it's Nürburgring. It's a track that was built in the 20s or 30s. It's 180 some turns. That's a lot of blind sections. 3 times a lap, you're airborne all 4 wheels off the ground. It has weather challenges where it could be raining in one part or another part. But it's definitely the most challenging piece of road I've ever raced, and one of the most fun, most exhilarating. The most scared you're ever going to be in a car, but it's just a blast.
That's really cool that you're enjoying that, and that's a track I've never even heard of. I'll have to look it up.
If you look up Nürburgring, the long course, or epic fails, what's amazing about it is during the week it's open to the public, and you can pay a toll. I think it's like $15, and you can run a lap. Anything that's street legal. So you can go out there, and there's motorcycles and tour buses and Porsches and Ferraris, and it's the most craziest thing in the world. I mean, they kill about 40 to 50 people a year there, just civilians that are out there in their own things driving. So if you YouTube that Nürburgring epic fails, you'll see some crazy crashes. But it's definitely the most fun piece of road any race car driver will ever drive in his life.
Good to hear. At your Pepsi 400 pole and the great race you ran, did anyone talk to you about how good you did afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, we were, Frankie Stoddard and I put this little effort together, and Jack Roush helped us with a car, gave us a car, and so we were such an underdog effort. So, I mean, the pole wasn't that big a deal because back then those races were impound races where you had to qualify on your race setup. But the way it was, if you weren't in the points, you were a go or go home. I don't know if you remember that. You had to qualify in the top 36 or you went home. So all the go or go homers that had to make the race on time were in full qualifying setup. So that's really the reason why we got the pole. We were the best of the rest. But in saying that, when the race started on the pole, we had to make all these pit stops to change the car back, change the front sway bar, change the shocks, change the oil, change all these things to get it in the race setup during the race. So for it to all come around at the end when we were running up front, at the end leading, it was pretty amazing day for me. I mean, something I never thought, a guy that drove his race car to the SCCA races to be, leading the Pepsi 400 with 10 laps to go in front of Tony Stewart was pretty cool. So that's one of those memories that'll last forever.
Now,
Did Tony
most
say
drivers. Oh, sorry, Doug.
Did Tony say anything afterwards to you or no?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did because it was kind of an unusual deal. But, normally on a plate race, you could always get the odd winner because it's a lot to do, a lot of luck, and, it's not as much skill as, a road course or a Darlington or a track like that. But it was still a long race, and we got a lot of congratulations after that. And, I think, for Frankie Stoddard, this guy with so much experience, it wasn't that big a deal, but it was still a great night for us.